What is up? Let's see. Let me touch some buttons. We got some button touching. Okay, so good morning to everybody. What a interesting 24 hours. A lot of cool stuff. We're going to focus a little bit on the greater markets, and there's more green today than yesterday. Yesterday looked like a crime scene, but today looks a little bit better. And then there's certain assets that are not performing. There's certain very obvious reasons why they're not. We'll discuss that. And let's see. Let's start over on YouTube and say hello to Leon, Scorpion, Bitcoin Candy, Sylvia Andrews, JJ, Brady, Hits NDC. Who else do we got? Mark. What's going on, Mark? And Scott. Over on Theta, we have V. Rouleau, Jimmy James, Starchip. Starchip's cool. That's a cool name. Mark again. What's up? Expat Matt, Scorpion, Cabeza de Termo, P. Kelly, SJO Theta TV, Dwight Schrute in the house. And then we have Adam. We have Jimmy James. We have Dab Life 420. That's a good one. Fishing Magician, Ocean Dawn, JR80, TS Monkey, Stress Relief. It must sound like I'm going into some kind of weird fit when I read all these names. If we're over on Clubhouse with our peeps there, we have Alexander, Antonio, Jose, Nico, Leon, JD, Aldo, Akram, David, Nick, Toria, E, Mano, Big Swappa. I like that. Big Swappa. That's cool. Kristen, Expat, Eileen, Daria, Christian, Sade, Sean, Alan, Veronica, Tracy, Audrey, Jordana. I think I pretty much nailed it. Tom, Scott, CC Brown. I'm just going to keep reading out names until they stop coming. Yeah, so I think we got it. So for most of you, if you're on Theta, I have a separate box where you can ask questions, and it's relatively live. I think there may be a 1 to 2 second delay. Patsy, what's going on? If you're on YouTube or Twitter, Twitch, or any of those ones, then I have a little bit more real-time question box so I can do your comments and all that kind of stuff. And Michael, what's going on? Gordon, what up? And let's see. Philippe Trading, what's going on? Okay, cool. So I think we got a pretty good little crew. T, what's going on? Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to roll these little kind of half-assed graphics, and then we have the semblance of a real show because we're fancy as hell. And then we'll get on to it. See you in just a second. All right, let's see. Quick piece of news. Well, you know what? I can't say that news yet. It has to do. So those of you, many of you found us through Raging Bull when we were doing the live show on. We were in the bullpen there at Raging Bull. So something is coming, which I can't say anything more. But it's not through me. It's through someone else. But there's another. Let's just say it's a network that's forming. I'll just leave it at that. And I will be participating in that. So I don't know if that'll be a 3-day a week, a 5-day a week, a whatever. But I will say this. Since I can dual broadcast through Clubhouse, the live shows on Clubhouse will continue unabated. And I will just put it off to the side. And I don't see that the network would have any problem with that. So we'll still have a live stream from the show. I'll have more information on that by this weekend. And then as far as we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of see what happens. I also may be able to throw up a second camera. Who knows? I got to figure out what the rules are. So we'll figure that out as we go. But no matter what, the Clubhouse show will continue. So that's cool. That's fun. All right. Let's talk prices really quick. The topic of the day, which I think is one of the biggest things, the biggest thing to happen in Bitcoin was BNY Mellon saying we're on board. I think that's the biggest thing that's ever happened to Bitcoin. And apparently only Alex and I believe that. Great. Well, the biggest thing that's happened to Cardano ever is what's happening in about 5 hours. And that is the Merry Hardfork. I'm going to read to you guys a little bit more clear kind of explanation of what the hard fork entails. And the cool thing is, unlike other companies and other projects, when there's a hard fork, you have to do all this stuff, put your token somewhere, cross your fingers, hope to die, all this kind of shit. Well, you don't have to do that in Cardano. They've taken care of it. They have a thing called the HFC, which is the hard fork combinator. They do all the heavy lifting. You don't got to do nothing. That's my favorite thing to do. Nothing. So we're going to talk prices. We're going to get into Mary a little bit, and then we're going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes just doing straight Q&A related to the kind of projects we're looking at. I know there's a million projects out there, and so I don't cover all of them because I kind of look at stuff, and if it doesn't resonate with me pretty quickly, I just move on down the row and I look at other projects. I'm more an infrastructure person. I like protocol layer stuff. I like the railways. I like the highways of the future of Web3 and any tools that can enable the digitization of legacy financial products. Constantino, what's going on, brother? Over on Theta. What up? Crypto 10X. Let's see. Oj coin to $1. Oj coin. I get it. I get it. I get it. I know what you did there. Good for you, sir. Okay. So let's talk Bitcoin. Everybody was depressed. Everybody was crying. It's over. What have I done with my life? I leveraged everything. Well, maybe you didn't. Neffers, what's going on? Beach Girl, what up? Limitless. Okay. The Bitcoin is at 49,900 bucks. Obviously it's up from, I think it dipped just a smidge below 45,000 for a second, for a hair. And you say, well, why did this thing last so long? Why did we have 3 days of sustained selling? But really the answer is it's pretty clear, right? You had different degrees of selling off and different degrees of people getting liquidated and then having to deal with those liquidations. And then this kind of psychological follow-on effects. Oh crap, it's down. I'm panicky. What do I do? And a lot of people second guessing. There's a lot of new people in the crypto space. And you have to understand that everybody, the whole weak hand thing, strong hand thing, that's all bullshit. There's no such thing as weak hands or strong hands. People that reduce all market activity to somebody sitting in their basement in a jock strap with bubble gum in their hair with iron, with the iron grip, that's fucking stupid. All right. These markets are incredibly complex. And not only are there a lot of mechanical functions, like the different ways in which you can have these cascading liquidations, things like that. Okay. There's also a lot of different layers to the psychological underpinnings of these markets. None of this stuff is very super clear. And anybody that tells you they have a clear, direct explanation for everything that happens is a fucking liar. No one has all of this stuff. And all we're doing is we're all just kind of guessing. And the way we're guessing, we're guessing with probabilities and statistics and just a little bit of kind of, human bias. So, whenever you see that, oh, well, the weak hands, the whales are doing this. Listen, you just follow the money is probably the easiest way to say it. If you follow the money in Bitcoin, then you have a pretty clear picture of what's going on. And to kind of reduce it to what we know that one big sale of about 156.6, well, not about, that was exactly it, 156.6 million in Bitcoin triggered kind of a runaway chain reaction of depression, sell-offs, margin calls, liquidations in the futures accounts, people that had a lot of leverage. During the first part of the dip, when everybody came in to buy the dip, because that's how, buy the dip, you got to always buy the dip. Okay, well, I don't agree with that either. I don't think you always buy the dip. That's to assume that things only go up all the time, and that's ridiculous. Well, to those people that bought the dip, almost $6 billion was liquidated. You got smoked again. Buy the dip. Okay, well, almost $6 billion like bought the dip and got fucking smoked to zero. So be very careful about these memes and these bumper stickers that all these fucking half-wits will throw at you, like you're supposed to tattoo that onto your computer and that's the way you trade. Be very careful. All of your, don't even listen to me. If the only thing you get out of listening to me is to go ask questions, that's it. You got a success. That's a success story. All right. I ask questions all the time. I'm constantly looking for the reasons why I might be wrong. Right. Because if I'm wrong, if I've got some error in my thinking, then that's going to be expressed in all of the ways that I trade. And then there's a flaw in there. There's a wrench in the system, and I've got to sort that out. You guys have to sort that out too. You have to sort out all the little kinks and flaws in your logic. And if you don't, you're going to be around when the crypto market explodes, and you're going to think you're good, right? We all thought we were so good. Ooh, 2015, we're good. We're smart till we got nuked. 2017, look how smart we are till we got nuked. Oh crap, I'm not smart. I have no control. I'm going to panic. So is this very important to try to unpack all of these things and say, this piece of information seems relevant. This piece of information seems nonsense. This seems maximalist. This seems like it makes sense. And you have to weigh all of those things. And it's cool to read and it's cool to listen to other people, but you have to be very careful that you're not leveraging bad information and that it's overshadowing more sound, more reasonable logic. So there are a lot of mechanical factors for why this big sell-off occurred. And I will tell you this was not a big sell-off. This was a little bit less than 20% or right at 20%. In 2017, there were 7 sell-offs that ranged between 28 and 38%. 3 of them were 38% sell-offs. 38%. I wager to you that even though everybody says, oh, I survived since, you get these people, I was here since 1993, the beginning of Bitcoin. What do you mean the beginning of Bitcoin? Adam Back was in fucking high school. I'm kidding. He was probably writing Hashcash. But my point is, just be very careful who you listen to and the inputs, the information sources that you're getting. You have to assume everybody is out to cheat you, steal from you, and lie to you. If you assume these things, right, then it's very rare where you're going to get surprised by somebody. Stress Relief asks, question, watching the entire market cap tank with Bitcoin, do you believe Bitcoin 4-year cycle is still in play? I believe there are psychological effects to it. I think a few months before and a few months after the halving is probably a big deal as miners try to figure out which equipment they have to decommission and roll over. I think there's some huge problems with proof of work, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. So is it in play? I think before and after a halving, it is in play because it comes a talking point. And if it leads the narrative and we all start thinking in terms of the halving is coming or the halving, blah, 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 then we start to behave as such. So there's definitely a psychological effect to that. As far as the thinning of the tokens and the fee structure and all that, obviously it plays an important role, but you start to price it in, don't you? So before the halving, about 6 months out, you start to price it in. And about 6 months after the halving, it's been priced in and the markets get back to something that makes sense. And then you say, okay. So most of this information, by the time the discussion becomes public, it's been priced in. I hope that makes sense. One more. Dwight asks, it seems like you're entrenched in the belief that DeFi is the devil. No. I don't think DeFi is the devil. I think there's levels of DeFi, which is that not logic you tell us to be cautious of, you get fried. Yeah. So here's what I see right now in DeFi, DEFI. DEFI is scammy, poorly written code. And I say scammy because we know with pretty good certainty that several of these flash loans are occurring from people very close to the project, like really close to the project, like a part of the project, the people that wrote it, that know how to exploit it, that are pilfering it to steal money from you. It is happening to some extent. So the DeFi space, DEFI, which stands for decentralized finance, but it's really not decentralized finance. When I think decentralized finance, I think of the greater space of providing financial tools in a decentralized or partially decentralized way, like Celsius, like Salt Lending, like Nexo, like BlockFi. That to me is decentralized finance. Now, I think all those companies go away because they will eventually be disintermediated in two directions. One, banks and financial institutions of the legacy variety will take over that business, because I'd rather go do a loan from Chase than a loan from Celsius, if we're being honest, right? I mean, sorry, Alex, but I don't trust you as much as I trust, the big dogs in the banking system. I don't trust the banks, but I trust the safety that the banks provide. And they do provide a level of safety. It is what it is. You can hate it all you want, but it is what it is. So decentralized finance, I believe, will also go the way of actual decentralization, where those same, the Salt Lendings, the Nexos, all these, Celsius, a decentralized version, a purely decentralized version will usurp those. Why? Because you have a lot of humans involved in those companies. You have a lot of rent takers, middlemen. They're all going away. This is the whole point of disintermediation and decentralization, is getting rid of the rent takers. We will get rid of the rent takers. If you are a rent taker, your days are numbered, Alex. If you're a rent taker, you're going away, or you will be absorbed into a traditional bank, right? Into one of the legacy banks that's trying to get a leg into the crypto space. And all of these opportunities, these super high lending facility opportunities, are probably going to get arbitraged down to something that looks more like high yield. The markets will stabilize to something between what they are now and a stable, my guess is a more stable, a more kind of spread across all of the networks type rates, right? Like you'll have essentially yields that you can park your crypto, and you'll get paid certain yields at the banking level, at the legacy bank level, which will make a lot more sense. This guy with his goddamn blowtorch thing. He has a tree, and the tree always drops these stupid little dot things. And it's like it's just a surprise to him. And he blows it off every day. Every day you have to blow your little dots off. He doesn't even drive down his driveway. So it doesn't make any sense that he has to blow off his goddamn driveway every single day. But he does it every day. Blows off his little dots 365 days a year. He does it on Christmas morning. I hate you, Ron. Anyway, we'll get past that. Okay, so let me revert back. So that's DeFi, DEFI, would be these little lending platforms that are sketch, not, so decentralized finance would be Salt, Nexo, BlockFi, these lending institutions that sit somewhere between the banks and then the spammy bullshit, DEFI. And the spammy bullshit is, let's face it, Aave compound, all the hamburgers, everything that has the word swap on it, all of these things. If you see liquidity pool, liquidity farming, yield farming, all of this old bullshit, and then there's always a sticker on top of the page that says beta. Beta. What does that mean? It means don't put your fucking money in it. That's what beta means, dummies. And then these people get their faces ripped, and they're like, I don't understand. And then they call the exchange. Well, I want my money back. Fuck you. You don't get your money back. That's the whole reason there's the sticker that says beta, dummy. These guys, listen, the really good engineers are not working for the most part. They're not in DeFi. They're building real platforms. They're building protocol layer solutions, or they're building meaningful dApps. They're not spinning up a bunch of fucking stupid leverage, liquidity, yield farming. Where does the fucking yield come from? Does anybody ever stop and ask that? Where's all my yield come from? They shower you with bullshit made up tickets, little fucking wolf tickets that they print out of thin air. Ooh, look, 9,000% a year, a gazillion percent a year. It's bullshit, all of it. It's all bullshit. If you take those dudes and shake them, wake them up at 3:30 in the morning and fucking shake the shit out of them and say, what does your platform actually do? They'll vomit, first of all, because they're strung out on meth. And they'll say, I don't know, we're in beta. No, what does your platform do, dummy? And they'll say, we just give you some made up tokens. Cool, that's what I thought. What is a flash loan? Oh, that's when someone smarter than me who has more than 6 months education in programming comes in and fucks us off with a flash loan that exploits all the stupidity in our code, that exploits all the dumbness in the way we recollateralize all of these little stable coins to get you your yield. And all. It's just a bunch of bullshit. So if you buy into it, you fucking deserve to lose every penny you put in. I hope you win, because again, I don't want anybody to lose any money. I want all of you guys to make value and make your lives better and all that. And I'm not mad at the people that put these platforms up. Hey, slap a beta logo on it. And if you fucking evacuate it, if you hoover up everyone's money and put it in your back pocket, good on you, bro. Sushi swap, pancake swap, burger swap, cheeseburger swap, Rice Krispie swap. How many of these fucking things how many of these things do you guys have to see before you realize this is a fucking dumpster fire? Like at a certain point, it's on you. You deserve to get, melted. So it's like, whatever. So anyway, that's scammy junk. That's DeFi. But I will say this, that out of all that scammy bullshit, we're learning a lot about flash loans. That's one good thing. We're learning about exploits. And what we're learning about all those exploits is extremely valuable. The downside, half of you are going to have to pay for that tuition. You're financing code education on a global level. So those of you that are getting melted, those of you that have had rug pulls and all this kind of stuff, you don't get to cry to anyone, because you deserve what you get. Now, on the other side of it, if you guys make a lot of money, I'm not a hater. You also deserve that too, because you deserve the reward if you're willing to take the risk. So while I think DeFi, DEFI is a bunch of bullshit, for those of you that have the huevos to jump in there and throw some cash in there, knowing there's a very high likelihood that's going to get lit on fire, kudos to you, my friends, and you deserve every penny that you get. And don't let people tell you were lucky. You weren't lucky. You took risk. You took a big risk and you won. And I applaud that. I like it when anybody wins, even if it's tokens that I don't like. I think Link is bullshit. I think the people at Link, I think the community is bullshit. I think that their partnerships are mostly bullshit. I think it's a useless token. They even agree in the white paper if you read it. But that doesn't mean that I don't want you to make money with it. I hope everybody makes money with every token that you get. I just think you need to be very careful in the way you analyze these products to make sure that you're not holding past the point where maybe it doesn't make sense anymore. And I would urge all of you that the second you get to the point where you can scrape off your original investment, I would just urge you to please scrape that original investment in any of these projects, going from the spammy, crappy DeFi stuff all the way up to the tier 1 assets. Make sure that you scrape some of that back into your real life. Scrape some of these projects back into your real life and pay off some debt, pay off some credit cards, pay off your house, pay off your car. Make sure that this actually makes your life better, or else what in the fuck are you doing? Right? Like, make your life better or make someone else's life better. You could get hit by a bus, or you could catch syphilitic gonorrheic fever. I don't even know if they have that. They probably have it. If you have syphilis, you have gonorrhea, you have a fever, then maybe that's syphilitic gonorrheic fever. Anyway, use it to make your life better. By the way, T. Caldwell, good to see you. Genius Mastermind, good to see you. Eileen, hello. Sniper Princess, hello. Frank, what up? Nara, JJ, and Hoop and Tony, Digital Asset Jared. Cool. Good to see everyone. Also, let me say hello to Kimmy, Michaela, Angela, and B3, Nubia. What up? Okay. Let's continue. Let's see. That's why I love Trust Swap. Great for launches. Have the pump and dump. The launches seem pretty stable. Yeah, I mean, if you guys can make money off of it, make money off of it. I'm all for it. Just be very careful and understand your risk, and don't blame anybody. Just remember, keep this in mind, that the whole world kind of agrees. Baykeeper, what's up? The whole world kind of agrees in the legacy markets that 4.5% to 5% is what they're willing to pay for junk debt, junk bonds. And what that means, for those of you that don't know, they hear that when you hear the word high yield, it refers to the junk market. And junk refers to any debt markets that fall in it's the corporate bonds mostly that fall underneath triple B. So double B and look out below, right? So typically the way that spreads out is in the AAA market, which there's only a few companies that are AAA, and pristine collateral, which would be like treasuries, and then a few companies. I think Apple might be one, or Microsoft. Anyway, point is there's just a very few companies that have AAA credit rating. Then you go AA, triple B. Okay, almost everybody is globbed up on triple B. So there's about 5 trillion in that top tier. Most of that is triple B, right on the edge of going into junk status, unfortunately. So when a company's credit gets downgraded from triple B below, it really is look out below, because, and again, remember, high yield and junk, it's interchangeable word. When you get pushed down into the junk status, there's only about 1 to 2 billion worth of buyers in the junk market. So if you have 5, let's say 4 billion, trillion in assets in the triple B, and they get bumped down into junk status, you don't have a lot of buyers. There's like $1 in buying power for every $5. So there's no buyers of last resort. There's no buyers of first resort. There's just not enough buyers to absorb. So what are some names that have junk, that are junk debt? Right now, junk is Tesla. Yeah, that's right. Tesla. Woo Tesla is junk. Their paper is junk. Ford is junk. A bunch of companies are junk. A bunch of big names. You say, Jesus, what does that mean? That means that the rating agencies believe, and again, rating agencies, they have their own problems. I get it. But the world agrees, because they buy into those rates, is that those companies have a 50% or better chance of insolvency. That's high risk. That is what's called junk. Junk pays 4.5%. So when you look at the crypto space and there's things paying 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you go, whoa, what the fuck? How can they pay that? That's the question you need to be asking yourself, because the whole world is looking at the junk bond market and corporate debt market. The whole world has reached consensus that 4.5%, maybe 5% is what they're willing to pay. And that's what they're willing to lend for, right? You buy their debt, they're basically borrowing your money, right? Now, junk debt is so awful, pension funds can't own it. Legally, they cannot own it. If a company gets downgraded, they have to dump that debt. So, you know what's happening in the market right now, in the bond market. Companies sell their corporate debt. They take the cash, they buy their own stock back. They pay themselves all bonuses. They jack the price of the stock up, wash, rinse, and repeat. The only time right now that they can't buy their own stock back is if they take a government handout. That's the only time they can't. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I say that because you need to understand that the backdrop, the whole world, the whole entire legacy financial system, for better or worse, agrees that junk debt, 50% chance of insolvency companies, that loaning them money should give you 4.5%, right? So if you see these companies like BlockFi and all this shit, and they're paying you 8%, 7%, 6%, shouldn't a little alarm bell go off and go, whoa? Where is this money coming from? Illiquid markets, sketchy people, junior code, unaudited, high risk. Everything above about 2% is risk. Everything above 4% is junk. So whether they want to hear it or not, BlockFi, junk. Celsius, junk. It's junk bonds. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so just keep that in your mind. And the reason this is important is because when bigger legacy financial institutions come in, they're going to arbitrage all of this away, which is why I think it goes in two directions. It goes completely decentralized, right? Or it goes the other direction, where the legacy financial system will basically absorb a lot of these products and offer, less rates, but with a little bit more safety, right? Let's see. Would I park, Hoop and Tony asks, would I park my USDC in any of those platforms? Well, I don't know if I would hold a dollar stablecoin. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but they pay 10%. You say, yeah, what? Okay, so Virilo asks, Nick, what about Nexo paying 10%? Yeah, I would ask where the other 5.5% from junk comes from. Like, where does that come from? Oh, well, they loaned it out. Oh, who's borrowing it? Other people in the crypto space that are taking undue risks? Did you know that Nexo just sent out a letter today? An email? Most of you, I'm sure, do. The email said, we can't let you do free withdrawals anymore of small transactions. Why? Because we can't afford to because of the price of Ethereum transactions. Yeah. Let's talk about Ethereum. Bam! Ethereum, 1,652 buckaroos. Pretty good if you don't remember last week when it was over 2,000, but it's still pretty good. It's still relatively all-time high, right? Is it in price discovery mode? Probably. It's probably been in price discovery mode ever since about 1,400 bucks. The gas fees are ridiculous, and it's gotten so bad now that even the lending facilities, and we knew this was going to happen, we knew it. This is why these companies are starting to go over to Binance Chain. Binance Chain is basically, it's a scam, but it doesn't matter because it's a scam with low fees. We'll take it because they know that a lot of these platforms don't work with Ethereum the way it presently is with the fee structure. Again, don't confuse Ethereum, the investment thing, the investment product, for Ethereum, the smart contract platform with a fee structure that doesn't make sense. Okay. So just be very careful that you keep those separate in your brain box. Yeah, I think Binance is more risky than DeFi. DeFi on Binance, well, it's as risky as you get. The only cool thing about, well, I will say this about Binance is they have deep pockets, they have a lot of money, and I don't believe they'll let anybody fail. I think that they will cut that check. CZ will cut that check until he gets arrested by the Chinese government. That's coming. All right. Cardano, $1.05. Pretty dope. I could go down and read you the whole thing. It's up 9% on the day, 20% on the week, 195% on the month, 1,757% on the year. No, we're going to talk about Cardano. We're going to talk about it in just a second. We're going to talk about the Mary Hardfork. Matter of fact, we're not going to talk about it in just a second. We're going to talk about it this second. I want you guys to understand why this is a big deal. It's a big deal. And real quick, especially, you said quadrillion total market cap. Did you project Cardano future price with that number? They're unbelievable. No, listen, stress relief, it's very difficult to do any real price projections. I said that the addressable market of all derivatives is around between 1 and 2.5 quadrillion. But that would probably expand as money printing expands throughout the world. And again, you're not really money printing, right? They're just creating credit either in the form of debt destruction, which is a form of printing, right? If you have 100,000 in debt and I wipe that out, I've essentially, printed 100K onto your balance sheet. Credit availability, free flowing cash, loans, extending credit, things like that. It looks like that total addressable market of financial products is around 1 to 2.5 quadrillion if you count derivatives. And if you if you take all those products and you convert them to digital versions of those products, then potentially that's the addressable market. Yeah. So, but how do you predict what the value of something would be in that scenario? I don't know if you can do much. I mean, you're just throwing darts, really. I guess you could say that some degree of that, if 5% of that ended up in the crypto market that we have, then you'd look at what, 50 to 250 trillion as the market cap for crypto. And if you looked at that and you swelled that outward, then you could maybe say there's a 250x left in this market, between a 50 and a 250x left in this market. Certain assets will outperform, certain assets will underperform, but on the aggregate, that'd be some napkin math. Okay. The Mary Hardfork, what will it mean for Cardano? The Cardano blockchain is poised to enter a phase of significant change at the end of February. For the first time, this is happening in less than 5 hours. For the first time in the protocol's history, users will be able to define their own custom tokens through the multi-asset ledger, adding a new layer of functionality and utility to the Cardano blockchain. This will be made possible through the Mary Hardfork 127, one of the most important events to occur on the Cardano blockchain since the rollout of Shelley in July 2020. I think this is the most important thing to happen to Cardano, period. Period. As part of the wider rollout of Goguen, Mary represents a step change for Cardano, delivering long-awaited Cardano components to the community. Named after the mother of the native token's namesake, Ada, Mary Lovelace, the Mary Hardfork will be facilitated by IOHK's Hardfork Combinator. This will handle the seamless transition from Cardano's current mainnet to Mary. And for the general Ada holder, no user action will be required. They'll be pushing a user-friendly FAQ about Mary closer to the date, which that's starting to come out now, probably today and tomorrow. You're going to start getting some press releases about that. We're going to discover some of the things that you'll notice with the arrival of Mary on Cardano and explore Mary's potential to impact our ecosystem. All right. What impact will the Mary Hardfork have on the Cardano ecosystem? Really quick side note. I don't know if many of you know this. However, Charles Hoskinson received an email from Dr. Gavin Wood saying, hey, let's work together. Isn't that interesting? That the two next biggest projects behind Ethereum that are just about to start launching their protocol layer solutions to solve the fee paradox might end up working together. And when you start putting the team together, right? Like if you play fantasy football or whatever, you start putting the team together. Charles Hoskinson, Gavin Wood, Dan Gortzel, go down the list. I don't want to get in front of these dudes. They will fucking bulldoze you over and then explain it to you in a way where you feel like they did you a solid. Dan Larimer tried to talk, throw some shade on Cardano. Dan Larimer, the guy that started 5 different projects, basically stolen about $4 billion out of society and produced nothing. EOS is a fucking dumpster fire. It is the biggest fail in the history of fails. Ugh. Anyway. Dan. What a dumbass. He looks like an owl that's strung out. Anyway. What impact will the Mary Hardfork have on the Cardano ecosystem? We know the native assets and tokens will soon arrive on Cardano, but what can they be used for? Like other blockchains, tokens will be a central and core part of many decentralized applications launching on Cardano. This is likely to take the form of utility tokens, governance tokens, and tokens representing real-world assets. You should think non-fungible tokens. The important thing to remember is that while smart contracts are arriving shortly and will form an important part of the ecosystem, they're not required to create a native token on Cardano. This means that as soon as the Mary Hardfork is complete, you can create user-defined native tokens on Cardano and begin using your newly created assets. I told you guys yesterday, I'm going to create a stablecoin, USDF, US dollar fake. Don't worry, you're all going to be showered with fake US dollars, I assure you. All right. Native assets could be used to mint non-fungible tokens, which can be used to represent a huge range of unique real-world and digital assets. For example, an NFT could be minted, which represents a fractional equity stake in a forestry biodiversity initiative. It's probably not the first thing that I would come up with. This could be traded on digital asset exchanges and held by those looking to offset their carbon footprint via the Cardano blockchain. Great. Good on the world. Alternatively, a Cardano-based native NFT could be used for creating a unique work of digital art stored on the blockchain forever. Such non-fungible tokens have seen growing popularity among blockchain enthusiasts with utility in both online gaming and the world of collectibles. As you know from Alex and I and our trials and tribulations, by the way, we both tried to get packs last night. We both were denied. We'll try again tonight. All right. As previously explored, decentralized finance, what would that look like on Cardano? The native tokens are also an important step in this journey. Native tokens representing stable coins, wrapped assets, and lending protocol utility tokens, which in my opinion are still spammy, will all be instrumental in bringing the world of DeFi to Cardano. This is the one thing that doesn't make me super excited. Bringing all of the worst parts of Revelations to Cardano doesn't sound great to me, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, there'll be a lot of money chasing it. I don't like what it might mean, but here we go. What impact could the Mary Hardfork have on the wider world? Blockchain adoption is accelerating. That means many new users are entering the ecosystem. Recently, we had many discussions on how we can bring users from emerging economies, especially those in the African continent, into the blockchain ecosystem. Native tokens available through the Mary Hardfork could be one of the first features on Cardano that can be tailored for financially underserved communities. This is the part that I like. Let's imagine a token that's created that represents a regional level exchange of value for nations with highly inflationary national currencies. These tokens could be used to pay for local goods and services, for schooling, for food, whatever, without the need to use traditional limited bartering systems or trading in physical goods. The impact and power of such a user-defined currency could be the difference between a subsistence farmer increasing their market access within the local area through easier to access liquid capital, or it could empower a young artist in a small village to successfully make a career out of their talents by selling their art to a global audience through digital tokens. So this is all part of the greater idea of financial identity. And to an extent, just identity in general, just creating inclusion into the world. Native tokens could also make it easier for individuals in emerging economies to take payments for services from overseas. Native tokens pegged to fiat currencies as a stable coin, such as USDC or any of the other spammy stable coins, could facilitate the instant cross-jurisdiction settlement of assets. This would make it easier for a freelancer from Venezuela, for example, to accept a US dollar stablecoin without waiting for lengthy bank settlement times, and also avoiding instability in whatever their native currency is, like the Bolivar. By giving every user the ability to generate user-defined tokens on Cardano, Mary opens the door to a long list of new applications, limited only by the user's imagination. This holds the potential to empower those in emerging economies through the affordable and borderless nature of Cardano native tokens, while simultaneously alleviating the pain points associated with user-defined tokens on existing blockchain protocols like Ethereum. Okay, Stress Relief asks the question, could we see NFTs of paintings of Nick sitting in each one of his supercars? You probably won't see that. There's a good chance you will not see that. God, we're actually trying to get a car today. It's kind of a kick in the softies. We're getting out of a McLaren and getting into a Lambo. Oh, God, what a mess. Anyway, first world problems, right? I don't even know if that's first world problems. That's like first world problems. That's like Los Angeles first world problems. All right. Okay. What features will Mary deliver? The most important part of the Mary Hardfork will be the orderly transition of Cardano from a single asset ledger supporting only ADA, right? Cardano, the token, into a multi-asset ledger. This will introduce support for multiple diverse user-defined tokens on Cardano. But what will this look like in practice? In short, it means that you will begin to notice new assets being exchanged on the Cardano blockchain, like ERC20 tokens that can be created and transacted on the Ethereum network. Native tokens will open up similar functionality for Cardano, albeit with some functional differences and improvements. Some of the components required to create native tokens on Cardano arrived in our earlier hard fork, which was Allegra. This included redeeming and burning of tokens, sending tokens, writing monetary script, and minting of new tokens. Now, though, through Mary, the integration will be finalized with Cardano's Rosetta API, which will be updated for multi-asset support. The engineering partners at IOHK published a big article on the deep dives into some of the technical aspects of Mary, which is super dope. All right. We anticipate the Mary Hardfork will be a historic event for the Cardano blockchain. Now all that's left is you. Native tokens on Cardano are user-defined. That means that our community is free to unleash their creativity and entrepreneurship when deploying tokens. So what will you build? Will you launch an NFT? Will you create a utility token for a unique DApp idea to explore DeFi scammy possibilities? And they have a thing where you can let them know in the comments below. So there's a lot going on with Cardano. It starts in a few hours. And so what does that mean when I say it starts? Well, the the hard fork occurs in about 4 hours and change. Then it's going to be the next epic. So it's going to be the end of the epic, which will be 5 days. And on March 1st, it's live. It'll be live in what's called Flight, which is kind of their test live network. I mean, it's on the main net, but this is kind of like a little test area. And then my guess is it's sprayed out to the entire planet Earth in about 10 days, 10 to 15 days. A few epics to make sure that everything is easy and that the user interface all makes sense. So what does that probably mean? Well, it means we're all going to have to redefine the way we value Cardano, because the game demonstrably changes today in a few hours. But you won't be issuing assets today. The hard fork occurs through the HFC, which is the hard fork combinator. After one epic, which is 5 days, I think it's number 248, it would go live. We're on 247 right now. It'll be 248, the end of 248, March 1st. And then maybe 1 to 2 epics after that. You'll be able to just go launch Brandon Coin or Hoop and Tony Coin or Fernlight Prism Coin or Sylvia Coin or Beach Girl Coin, Heatsink Coin, Denizen Coin. I mean, if you have a value proposition, you can launch a token. NFTs, you can launch it. You can do whatever the F you want. Now, I don't really know what that means. I guess we've been so many years into Cardano, and this is the first time that the value proposition rolls out to everyone. And so I'm kind of nervously excited because I'm going to have to go to the drawing board this weekend, and I'm going to have to, in my own mind, revalue, right? Not reprice, because the price is the price. I'm going to have to revalue Cardano. There are also, yes, as Stress Relief said, there are also some announcements coming. One is a liquidity announcement, which my guess is has to do with Coinbase, and not just listing on Coinbase, but some kind of deal they're working with Coinbase to list tokens. My other assumption is that Ethiopia will be onboarded, or at least they'll make public that they're going to onboard it. Those are big deals. This would be the first time that a country has been onboarded onto a blockchain, like a whole country. I don't care what the Bitcoin maxis, the Ethereum Alliance, they can all say whatever the fuck they want. No digital asset platform, no company, no goddamn profit, doesn't matter who you are. This has never happened, ever. A whole country is saying, we're in. I don't know what that means. I don't know to what degree they'll be participating. I don't know. I don't think any of us really knows what that means. And I'm not sure the people at Cardano know what that means. So I think we're going to have to all do some very interesting soul searching. And my guess is not right with the hard fork, but between now and the next 15 days, as they start making announcements, my guess is that Cardano, that ADA, the token, goes into price discovery mode. Because remember, they're going to start announcing on a regular basis all of the new partners, not just AGI or Bondly or Celsius, but all of the partners. And you can bet there is a pretty big fat handful. So we'll see. I'm pretty excited. I don't know where this goes. See, my original thought is that a lot of the anticipation is priced in, and that maybe there could be a little bit of a sell-off right after this hard fork, because people are like waiting for something to happen. And when that thing doesn't happen, they're like, right? But they haven't made any announcements yet other than the hard fork. So, the whole buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, we don't have the news to sell against yet. So as the news comes in, it's going to be very interesting to see how people behave. I will say this. People that try to sell the news on Cardano are likely to get their faces ripped off emotionally if some of these companies start leveraging the platform and Ethiopia or whatever comes on board, and it creates, they onboard 5 million new people. Nothing in crypto has ever occurred that's to that scale. Nothing. Let me say that again. I don't care what the Bitcoin maxis or what any maxis say, nothing like this has ever fucking happened in crypto. So none of us know what the ramifications are. We don't know what the ramifications are on the token. We don't know what the ramifications are on loading up the network. We don't know what that means for other projects. We don't know what that means for margin erosion. We don't know. We do not know. Nobody knows. Anybody that thinks they can tell you is a fucking liar. Nobody knows. Not even Charles. Don't look at the price. The price means nothing right now. In my mind, I don't know what the value of Cardano is, but in the next 5 days, I'm going to do some soul searching, and me and Alex and Leroy are going to get in there, and we're going to put pencil to paper, and we're going to try to figure out something that makes sense for us. And my guess is that number is way different than $1.06. Frank asks, if I add more ADA to Daedalus wallet prior to this afternoon's epoch, yes. Any tokens that are in your wallet will be counted towards the next epoch. Yeah. So yes. Because listen, every epoch, Frank, when you get your rewards, those rewards go into the wallet, and essentially those are new tokens that go towards the next epoch. So as long as you're in before the end of each epoch, each 5-day period, those tokens apply towards earning more tokens, if that makes sense. So, okay. And so roughly every 100 tokens per year equals about 5 more tokens throughout the year, or a token every 1.2 months? Sorry, every 2.1 months. Sorry. So that's one way to think about it. So 1,000 tokens would be about 50 tokens, 53 tokens spread out, so that you could say, okay, about 5 tokens a month, right? And then so you could kind of do the math right there. Anyway, all right. I hope that makes sense. Brandon asks the burning question: will we be able to create Nick Black's top McLaren moments NFT on Cardano? We might have some fun. Wouldn't it be cool if we all had, I don't know, there's all sorts of fun things. We're going to be talking about all this stuff, because the cool thing is, if you can come up with a neat idea, you can express it. Now that we can launch tokens, listen, it doesn't cost you anything to launch a token. It costs you to do transactions, right? Because you're loading up the network, and there's little fees associated with it, but it doesn't cost you anything. So if you have a cool idea for NFTs, or some cool idea for any kind of native asset that might be cool, you can do it. And that's dope. Nick on his scooter NFT, that's gross, because that'd be Nick almost getting hit by cars. I was on my scooter yesterday, and someone's like, get out of the way, you bum. I'm like, fuck you, this is a $2,000 scooter. But I didn't say that. I actually got out of the way because it's like a big ass truck. I thought they were going to mow me down. Anyway, let's go back to prices real quick. Let's finish it off. Polkadot, $34.80. It's up 3.75 on the day, 11 on the week, 95 on the month, and it's up well over probably a 12, 15x. I like the idea of Cardano and of Dr. Gavin Wood and Charles Hoskinson working together. I think that could be deadly to everybody else that's competing. XR, who cares? XLM, it's up almost 7% on the day. Pretty cool. Still down on the week. Cosmos had a great day yesterday. It's kind of down a little bit today, but it's still up 153% on the month, 400% on the year. So that's pretty good. Theta is back up. It's back up 12% today. Kicking butt. It's down a little bit last week, 5.2%, but it's still having a great year. It's up 2,400% on the year. It's kicking butt. Neo, $42. It's up 10% on the day. VeChain, we'll call it 4.4 cents. It's up almost 9% on the day. Graph token, $1.96. It's up 20% on the day. Can't keep a good graph down. IOST, we've been talking about it. Think of it as protocol layer, but also some exposure to China. It's at 5 cents, 0.3. It's up 5% on the day. 858%, 860% on the year. IOST is doing pretty good. And Near is at $3.45. It's up 14% on the day, down 19 on the week, up 38% on the month, and it's up. It's incalculable because it hasn't been out a year yet. Anyway, it's pretty dope. if I own ADA, am I allowed to build on top of that own token? No, you would issue new tokens. You would issue new tokens against the entire platform, and it would be supported by the platform. And which is, for many reasons, is cool. And for those of you that are interested in checking out what all the kind of cool things you can do with smart contracts, with very peculiar kind of user-defined smart contracts, look up the Plutus Playground. Cool? Plutus Playground. Especially asked the question, the tremendous volume that occurred early Saturday morning, Coinbase filling their coffer. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to know any of this stuff until after it happens. I think we're just guessing. So we'll see. Anyway, cool. Have a great day for all of you in the Facebook world, the YouTube world, Twitter, Twitch, Theta, Periscope. Have an amazing day. We are going to actually get the show kind of launched off here, the room on Clubhouse. So we'll go ahead and get that started. And I will go ahead and mute myself while Antonio and Alexander start building the room up a little bit. And for everyone else, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Don't do anything stupid. And as always, don't do anything my drunk, insolvent grandmother wouldn't do.
This is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, you talking to the Prophet? Hey. We talking condos and nice clothes and driving Lambos. I remember them night codes, we couldn't stand those. We tried to drive on them high roads, but had to stay low. Now there's solutions to hard bills we couldn't pay for. I talked to Prophet to get some profit, we couldn't change the top. If it's a stock and I need to cop it, I wait for him to drop it. Ain't no option, let's get it popping. We chilling in the trap. I need some crypto, put it in my pocket. By any means I rock. This is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, you talking to the Prophet? Hey, you talking to the Prophet?